All right, so next up we have Wolves. It's an away match. Ruben Amorim has had his press conference, sorry, which I just finished watching, and man, were they just going in on him about Kobbie Mainoo. So the question is, does Kobbie Mainoo start against Wolves, or is he going to succumb to the bench? All right. One thing's for certain, we know that Brian Mbeumo is going to be starting. We know Ahmed Taylor is going to be starting because he was asked questions about the players that are going to be involved in AFCON, and yeah, that's what you call this, Brian Mbeumo for Cameroon and Ahmed Taylor for Ivory Coast. So yeah, and the last I recall, they're both involved in the competition for their country, and if I'm not mistaken, I think they both qualified. If I don't know this information, I am just a disgrace to the continent. So yeah, let's just hope I've got that information right. But yeah, I'll put up my predicted starting lineup for this match. And this is what I think the team is going to look like. I don't think a lot is going to change. He did make mention of Matthias de Ligt because he was questioned about, is Matthias de Ligt going to be starting against Wolves? And it would be good for him to start against Wolves because this match, right, like so many matches before, is a must win. It is. I mean, we played West Ham, we got a point. We were supposed to get 3 points from that game, but we never got the 3 points. So this Wolves match is a win. But the thing is, right, and this is football, Wolves is going to be a difficult match. And I think any team that's playing Wolves at this particular time is going to be a difficult match for them. Because just as we are training hard to win, they are also training harder to win their first match. So if people are thinking, oh, United need to get this right because of whatever's going on at our club, trust me, that pressure is probably 10 times more at Wolves. And the worst part about it is United, we just gift points to opponents. You know, that's been our thing this season. You know, oh, do you want points? Do you want wins? Hey, you know what I mean? So yeah, that match is going to be very difficult. So it's very imperative that whatever the game plan is that Ruben Amorim has set out for this match has to be flawless. It has to be a winning strategy. We cannot have the strategy that we've seen in the past 2-3 games, where it's take a lead, bring in defenders, bring in more defensive-minded players, or have a more defensive-minded strategy to hold on to that goal and see the game out, because that it just doesn't work in the Premier League. It doesn't. So that mentality has to be thrown out the window. And we need to go for the kill. We need to go for the win because Wolves are going to bring the heat. And United just need to forget about the fact that they're going to concede a goal, which we are, all right, because we just become very sloppy at the back. It even makes you think that, you know, in January, not only do we need to look for a midfielder, but we also need to bolster that defense, right? United need to go into that match, and the only thing in their minds is how are we going to get as many goals as possible and forget about, and I'm not saying that they should throw defensive-minded strategies out the window, but their strategy should be attack, 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 attack. That should be the game plan to these players. It's get the ball, push up front, and just produce as much as possible. I don't think we're seeing Benjamin Sesko back anytime soon. Personally, I'm happy with Joshua Zirkzee. You know, in that Everton game, I think he was a bit unfortunate. It's understandable. He hasn't played, you know, football for, you know what I mean, basically since preseason. You know, he was a bit rusty. Following game, he gets his goal. All right, and even that goal, even though it was a beautiful goal, all right, it was also just one of those 1 in a billion. Not billion, I'm exaggerating, but you know what I mean. Right, very difficult angle to score. It's not something that you can replicate every single week. So even though United have been scoring goals, they haven't been goals that have come from, let me just say training ground goals, where you can see, oh, there's a certain pattern of play, 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever, and then they went and scored that goal. It has just been very random. Because even in that game, like I said, beautiful goal by Joshua Zirkzee, but at the same time, that's like 1 in a million chance goal that you actually do score. It's not something that you can repeat. Free kick, you can also argue that Dean Henderson was not prepared for that goal. All right? But we took advantage of it. It's football. We got our goal. I don't care. But what I do care about is that those 2 goals that came from that match were luck. You know what I mean? It was 50% luck and 50% preparation, whatever you want to call it. But it was more of, we were just fortunate to get those goals. And if those goals didn't happen the way they happened, that result could have been something else. And we cannot continuously rely on United scoring those type of goals. We need to build play better. We need to create chances much more better. The fluidity in that midfield needs to be better. The disruption of play needs to be better. But the season has started. This is not pre-season, right? And that advantage of having a week off is thrown out the window because we're now in the December period. We're playing back-to-back games. So we no longer have that advantage of having a week to prepare. It's play. After 3-4 days, we're playing again, right? And they're not all home fixtures. So it's literally play, rest, probably 1 training ground session, travel, play the next opponent, rinse and repeat. That's December. So I believe that's also why Ruben Amorim is finding it very difficult to shuffle the team, because there's not enough time to prepare for the next game, and it's just go with what he feels is best for what's in the moment. And that's what he's going to put out. But whatever the case is, United have had opportunities, all right, to be potentially 4th or 5th at the moment, but we're not. We're sitting in 8th, all right? And we've dropped so many points that, jeez, man, it's not good. It's not good. But a win this game should give us that momentum to see out December. Because I just feel that one more loss or one more draw is going to send the United fan base off the rails, especially if that 1 point or no points is going to come from a team that has literally not won a single game this season. That is where the line is going to be crossed. You know what I mean? The line was drawn, you know. Ruben is skating on the fence right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but the headlines that I'm seeing is just Ruben out. I'm done with Ruben. Ruben is clueless. Ruben doesn't know what he's doing. It's crazy. I can't deal with another manager. I can't. You know, Ruben has to be given the opportunity and the time to build his squad. We just have to. It's not going to be pretty, but at the same time, it doesn't mean that we should just accept the bad results, the bad performances until that happens. That should not be an excuse for Ruben to be making certain decisions and then we just accept it because, hey, Jan is coming. We're going to get players to fix that problem. What if we don't get those players? Oh, then we're going to wait for preseason, you know, to get the players. Guys, remember we're going into a World Cup year as well. So I'm just saying, Ruben needs to figure out what he currently has on his table even before new transfers come in. Because whoever we get, if we even get anyone at all, may not be the immediate answer to our solutions. So if he's not going to figure this thing out now, then I just don't see how United progress or even get better than what we're currently at the moment. So yeah, but anyway, what do you guys think? You know, do you think we stand a chance of winning against Wolves? You know, what do you think of the starting 11? Do you think it's, you know, Ruben's going to make some drastic changes? Like I said in the previous video before, if Ruben's going to start Kobbie, trust me, it's not because he thinks that, yeah, I'm ready to start Kobbie. You know, just based on what he's been saying in the press conferences. just know if Kobbie Mainoo starting against Wolves, yeah, it's end times. It really is end times. But anyway, guys, catch you in the next one. Peace.